Heads up, before I begin, let me just say that I've only seen the first two trailers of the film. Other than that, I haven't watched any other extras. Also, I know there is a controversy going on with Brie Larson going about this film. I'm hearing things like feminism, which by itself isn't a bad thing despite what the internet believes, and SJW. Do people even know what that term is when they use it? Probably not. I'm not going to go into those things because I don't feel that has anything to do with this film, so I didn't pay attention to any of that controversy. I will be fair and judge this film on its own merits and not everything that surrounds the film. So let's begin. Also, spoilers since I don't have any intention to make a follow-up to this review. While this is an origin story, it tells Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel's history in flashbacks. I think this is good because there are tons of people that complain about a character's origin story being the entire first film. This way of telling the story fixes that. It's interesting. I don't ever remember anyone actually calling Carol Captain Marvel in the film. Gee, maybe that can mean that instead of being named Shazam in the Shazam movie, Billy Batson will be called Captain Marvel in that film, possibly? Nah, probably not. Now here's some pros and cons of the film. Con. It's telegraphed right from the beginning who the main villain is. Pro. The Skrulls aren't the villains in the film. The main villains are the Kree. Going into this film, I assumed that both sides would be shown at fault, but no. The filmmakers swerved the fans that know the source material. Con. The Skrulls aren't the villains of the film. Story-wise, I think the film would have been stronger if both sides were flawed but had understandable motivations. Maybe in the future there will be a rogue Skrull and Kree faction that will have differing beliefs than the rest of their race, and maybe perhaps then the story for that film will be more nuanced and complicated than this one. Con. Brie Larson's acting half the time. Pro. Brie Larson's acting the other half of the time. At the start of the film, with the exception of the flashbacks, her acting seemed a bit wooden. It reminded me a bit of Zoe Saldana's acting from Guardians of the Galaxy, mostly all the way. I thought she was good in Infinity War. However, as the film went on, Brie Larson seemed to be more comfortable. What I find odd is she seemed to have a really good chemistry with nearly all the actors in the film except for Jude Law, Ben Mendelsohn, or any alien really. This is a problem since both the Kree and Skrull are a big focus of the film. Pro. Carol's origin and how she got her powers. It's different, but it still keeps the spirit of the original source material. She still is a pilot that gets blasted with alien energy. One thing they tweaked though was how Jude Law's DNA was going to be in her. Why does that sound dirty? Pro. The story. While the story is about an ongoing war, it took its time for smaller, more personal moments instead of the big, bombastic ones. We get to know the characters well in this film. Correction. We get to know the protagonists more better. The villains, not so much. Con. The story was paint by numbers in parts. While the story did surprise me in certain instances, in that it didn't always go the same road path that many action films do, this film was a bit predictable when it came to the main villains. The villains weren't that really fleshed out. Okay, fine, you want to take over the universe? But why? More power? To make space safer? I need answers. It's disappointing in how after such great villains like Zemo from Civil War, Killmonger from Black Panther, and Thanos from Infinity War, that we're back to the one or two-dimensional villains once again. That said, there is hope since Jude Law's character didn't die, so he could get better in the next film. But speaking of, Con, Jude Law. If after watching the trailers you felt that he was the villain but prayed that it wouldn't be true in the film or that it wouldn't be so obvious, well, your prayers weren't answered. I think the blame is more of the script than the actor because it wasn't disguised well at all. And here are just some random thoughts I had during the film. While I had some issues with the film, I did enjoy it. If I had to rank it, I'd put it on the same level of the Guardians of the Galaxy films for me, which is about a 3 out of 5. The film had some weak points. Example would be the shaky cam at times, not very strong CGI effects. I didn't see this in 3D, so it's possible that this film was shot in 3D and wasn't a post-conversion, and that's why at times the effects didn't carry over. Still, I thought for the most part the acting, action, and filmmaking was good. With how the story ends, I am interested in seeing where they could go next with the character. Is an adaptation of the Kree-Skull War possible? Will the next story take place in the past or in the present? I'm a bit jazzed now because I think a sequel to this film will be way better than this film, just like the original Captain America film, or rather Captain America the First Avenger, which I really liked, but the films after that were even better. And that's all I have right now. If you enjoyed this video, then please comment below, rate the video, and share it. And until my next video, have a good day.